guys, and welcome to another episode of One Pod Life. In this episode, I talk to David Wicks, who has spent 6 years in America playing and learning his trade at college. On his way, he played in the Arnold Palmer Cup and he won the Michael Carter Award before heading off to the PGA Tour of Canada to perfect his game and learn all about professional tour golf. Now, we also talk about a little incident that happened to him on the 13th hole in an NCAA Championship match. You are never going to guess what happened to him and the consequences that came of it. Now, I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and if you do, don't forget to share it with your friends. Like it on Instagram, follow it, share it, follow me on Instagram at OnePotLife, and I hope you guys enjoy. Speak to you soon. Hey David, welcome to the One Pod Life podcast. How you doing, mate?
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, very well, thank you.
No, thanks for fitting us in your busy schedule, getting back from the gym.
No problem.
Good stuff. Okay, let's start from the beginning. People don't know who David Wicks is. When did you actually start playing golf?
I started very loosely when I was about 10. I was always into football, preferred football for a long time. Then when I got to about 15 or 16 is when I started to take it maybe 14 or 15, took it pretty seriously from there.
Okay. Who did anyone in your family get you into golf, or was it just?
Yeah, it was my dad. My mum and dad are split up, so I'd see my dad on the weekends or every other weekend, and it was sort of getting to that age where it was like we couldn't go and put me in a soft play anymore or something like that. So it was something that we could do together that was quite social, and we could both compete each other again. So that was the main reason for it. And then my dad got really hooked on it as well. So yeah.
Did you ever beat him at the young age, or did he always beat you?
No. We beat neither of us were very good. He's not very competitive at all either.
Okay.
Where I was. So
hence now why you're a professional golfer and he's not.
maybe, yeah.
So those early years then, what did it comprise of? Like you said, just you and your dad going to driving range? Was it going out on a golf course or what?
Yeah, the early years were basically Saturday, Sunday golfing. And my dad, for some reason, wanted to play so early. So we'd play at 7:00 in the morning on a Saturday and Sunday. And then I'd probably practice for an hour or two afterwards. And then I'd have a football match at about 2:00. So I'd go play football. My mum would pick me up and I'd go play football. So the early years was very much playing golf around football.
Okay.
Which was my passion at the time. But no midweek range sessions either, which I kind of regret now. I wish I'd done more when I was younger. Yep. At that age, especially 10's quite a late age to start anyway, but I wish I'd done more range work and had more lessons and things between the sort of ages of 10 and 14. Okay.
So when you got to 14 then, what was the turning point where I'm guessing you stopped playing football a little bit and then went straight into golf? Yeah,
it was weird. I was just the realization hit that I wasn't that great at football. I was good, I was solid, but I was never at any level that was going to get me anywhere. And I entered a tournament. I can't remember what tournament it was. It was an outer club. It was like a junior open. It was actually. Okay. And I won just randomly. I had no idea I'd won. Nothing.
Okay.
And then I got the bug from there. From about, I think it was the Highwoods Junior Open. I was 13 or 14, and then I got the bug. I was hooked once I started winning something.
Oh yeah.
From outer competition, because playing with my dad every day, I didn't really feel the competition that I felt in like football, which I craved. But once I started to understand it and sort of got those same sort of feelings through golf, that was when it really kicked on, and I put a lot of effort into getting up there and practicing more, getting some lessons and saving any money that I did have and made to sort of fund what would be quite an expensive sport.
It's not cheap, is it?
No, it's not cheap at all.
Putting the money to one side for a second. So you've made that decision. Football's not for you. Golf is for you. You won that competition. Mm-hmm. Did you sit down with your parents at that time and go, right, look, I actually quite like playing golf. I want to see what I can do, or it just happened overnight? No,
I think it was a transition phase. I still continued playing football until I was 17, but it was one training a week and one game a week. So I continued playing golf pretty much every other day than that. I was up the range after school. Well, fortunately, where I played, there was a floodlit driving range.
Okay.
So I would go up there after school. And then when I got to about 14, my dad got a job at the golf club selling the golf school. And he stayed in, there's a cottage on site, and he stayed in there. So it became really easy for me to go see my dad, practice, and sort of do all these things in one. So it became really easy for me to practice and become better because my dad was living there. So I had a base that I could use, so that made a big difference, I think.
And when was that?
That would have been when I was about 13, 14.
So what golf club was that?
I was at Settlescombe Golf Club, just over the side of Settlescombe Golf Club. And they have a really good practice facility for juniors. So like pitching, chipping, driving range, and loads of, it was 8 putting greens. So, it was a good place to develop. And there was other juniors there, which I think is crucial at that age to be competing against people.
Cool. So, because I'm obviously looking through your history, I can see that you actually went over to Jacksonville University in around 2014. I mean, how did you go from 14, 15 years old to then deciding, right, I'm going to go off to university in America and play golf?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird story. My dad was so keen on me going over there from a young age, whether it be for football or for golf. My oldest brother, he was a really good runner, and he went over to the American Sports Academy, and ran for them. So my dad was keen on it. He knew the education that I could get, which was pretty huge. So we sort of put a plan in place when I was about 16 to start emailing and talking to people who'd been to try and find some sort of route to get over there. And play and get under some structure, and or should I be playing better courses, more, there'd be a budget for me to from the coaches and team to actually travel and play and improve and compete against better players. And then it was that under that structure that America offered me, which some people totally dislike, and I can appreciate that. But for that structure for me was just a turning key. I mean, I really flourished once I started to get, know exactly what I was doing the next day. And I enjoyed studying. I really did. Hence why I stayed for my MBA. But yeah, I actually started in Texas. I went to Texas for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
A little college called Midland College. It's in the middle of nowhere. Full of cowboys.
Yep.
Really nice people. But I had to sort of earn my way to get to Jacksonville or to get to a Division I university. So that kind of gave me a stepping block to move forward and stay there. And I stayed there until 2018 in Jacksonville, and I still live there now.
Yeah.
So it was a massive decision, and it ultimately paid off for me. Because I knew once I went, I wanted to, turn pro and play and compete, going into my, professional years once I turned pro.
I like it because a lot of people that I speak to who have gone over to America only really go for maybe a year, 2 years max. So you're saying you was out there for about, 6 years? 6
years, effectively, yeah. I would have stayed there for 10. If someone offered me that to go back and play college golf again, I would bite their hand off. It was, it's so everything's just there. It's easy for you. The coach drives you to every event and a big bus with TVs and flat screens, and then you go and play against great players on great golf courses in lovely weather, and it's hard not to flourish and improve under those conditions. And we practiced at TPC Sawgrass every day, so nice. It was great. Yeah, we had a great time.
So you definitely advocate people or young guys and women that are looking at doing it to definitely go and do it and get stuck in properly.
Yeah, I do. I advocate young people to definitely look into it. My dad told me one thing when I went. He said, "David, you can come back after 3 months, after a semester, if you don't like it, But imagine living your whole life not taking the plunge and understanding and what could have happened. And if I'd stayed here, I would know where I would have turned pro. I would have got a job at some sort of corporate sort of role somewhere maybe.
Yep.
But I definitely wouldn't have continued golf. I just didn't have the foundations to do it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, I massively advocate, young especially aspiring professionals to go, and because you learn how to travel, or you're traveling around America, which is huge. So you're traveling around America, learning to compete and tour, and that a lot of those things play out in professional golf as well.
So during your time there, you got to play in the Arnold Palmer Cup, and I think I saw that you actually won the Michael Carter Award.
I did, yeah.
So yeah, talk me through what process is to get into Palmer Cup first of all, and then your experiences through that, and obviously talking about the Michael Carter Award as well. Okay,
yeah. So qualifying for the Palmer Cup was actually a goal once I got to Jacksonville, and I didn't do it the first year. I was very close, but then my final year, I think 6 players get through on rankings. So that's the top 6 European players qualify straight away, and then there was 2 players that were coaches picked, and 2 players that qualified via Division 2, and 1 from a university event in Scotland, like Stirling University and those guys. So that was how it was selected. I got in through qualification, I had a really good year. And then it was held at Atlanta Athletic Club, which is, it held the USGA, the PGA Championship, where Keegan Bradley won. It was a great course. It was an epic experience. It was just the year after Arnold Palmer. It was about 3 months after Arnold Palmer had died. So it was the first time the event was held where he wasn't actively there. So it was a huge emotional sort of week really for a lot of people. His family were there, and we had a pre-match sort of dinner and an opening ceremony, and someone from the European team, which I was chosen to stand up and sort of give a speech talking to Arnold Palmer and his family and things. So that was a really cool experience. I remember that forever. But the week was awesome. I mean, the standard of golf was phenomenal. I think 10 or 12 of the 20 guys are on the PGA Tour or the EP World Tour right now. And yeah, it was a great experience, really good experience. And it gave you an insight into the level that you needed to be, because these boys were, I mean, far superior to me, which I thought I was at that level so far. Yep. So it made me realise how much better I needed to get. I played pretty well all week and picked up 1 point. So it was eye-opening, which is good.
And then what was the Michael Carter Award for?
So the Michael Carter Award was, I don't want to butcher this, but a young man passed away.
Yeah.
I think it was from a car crash. And I think he was very young, maybe mid-20s. And he passed away, and he always lived life to the fullest. He was a really, really down-to-earth, had time for everybody kind of guy. So the Michael Carter Award was given out to the individual that sort of displayed those qualities the most throughout the week, sort of helping children, lots of autographs, and spending time with, sponsors, or whether it may be an extra hour at the clinic that they didn't need to be there, or, and everyone was good at it, right? So, but naturally I'm quite personable. So I think that's a big reason why maybe they gave it to me. But I mean, yeah, it's a great award, and I hold it with a lot of pride for sure.
Definitely. Oh, you should do. Definitely. So everything leading up to the Arnold Palmer, you've done university for 6 years, which is great. Mm-hmm. You come out 2018, and then you stay over in America, or North America, and you end up playing on the PGA Tour of Canada.
Yes.
Now, I don't think many people know much about PGA Tour Canada, to be honest. But also just talk through what the level of golf is different over there compared to, say, European golf that you would normally get used to.
Yeah. The PGA Tour Canada, they obviously play it through the summertime. So it's May to September because of the weather. And it was the best golfing experience of my life for a lot of reasons. I learned how to travel better with a lot of mistakes along the way. I got stuck in so many random places in Canada you wouldn't believe. But the tour is incredibly well run, and it's run by the PGA Tour. So it's obviously very well funded, and they're well equipped to help, aspiring professionals. And the standard of golf on it is very different, because in a ranking, you would sort of rank it sort of equivalent to the Euro Pro in terms of stature, on like a pyramid. But the standard of golf would be more like Challenge Tour, because the pure amount of players there are in America is it's incredible. There's so many more people. So, and golf's a lot more accessible over there. For a lot of, I say more accessible, it's more expensive, but it's accessible for a lot of people. So, the standard was very good, very, very good. And the quality of course and the layout and design was impeccable. So it made it, it was a test of golf every week, which was nice.
What you need, obviously, to compete at that level, isn't it? So
yeah. And for my first season, I was very much trying to get my bearings and understand what made me play well for 4 days, because there was obviously normally 3 rounds, but before that, what days did I like to get there? Like, I found for the first 6 events, I was well over practicing. I was practicing way too much for the week. I was hitting 300 or 400 balls on the range on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, it was just unsustainable. I was just so tired. So I started to work out that, I didn't get to the course until the Tuesday, then only played 9 holes each day, and things like that was very, very, very good for me to figure out.
Yeah, like I said, that kind of steadied you up nicely for more tournaments going in the future. And if you get onto the right tours, like you say, if you're playing those 4 rounds of golf, you now know how to get yourself set up ready to move on for that week. I think I've read somewhere that, especially people when it comes to the majors, they over practice because they get too excited and think they need to get there on the Monday and like you said, hit 300-400 balls every week, but you don't. I couldn't recommend playing multi-day events more. I think professional events that are 1 or 2 days just aren't going to equip you for what you need to do to build a score for 4 rounds. 3 rounds is great, but 4 rounds is ultimately better because it's a different kettle of fish to shoot 1 or 2 good rounds in a row. If you shoot 7 under in a 2-day event, the next day you can shoot level par and still finish well. Whereas you shoot 1 7 under and 3 level pars in a 4-day event, you've come nowhere most of the time, in America especially. No, I like it. Okay, moving forward a little bit, you're back in the UK for a little bit. We have been for quite a while now, and you've been playing a few of like Euro Pro, a little bit of Challenge Tour, Clutch sometimes as well, like last week when I saw you, and you shot a little bit better than I did that day. But you've literally just finished the first stage of DP World Tour Q School, where I think you came joint first, wasn't it, in the end? So you're now through to the next stage, which is going to be in Spain in a couple of weeks. What's your plan with that? Obviously, you hoping to get on a DP World Tour and stay in Europe, or are you looking to at some point to get back over to America and try and get on a PGA? The plan is obviously to make it through second stage and then get to third stage and get into those DP World Tour qualifying positions, which would get me my card. They've opened up some cards on the DP World Tour now that can transfer over to the PGA Tour, which is nice, because ultimately I see my future in life in America. So being back in the UK for so long is not ideal for what I want to achieve, but it's it's a perfect base for me when I was playing around Europe this summer. So that's the goal. And if you make it through second stage and you make the cut, it's a 6-round event. I'm not sure if you know that, but it's 6 rounds. So it's a brutal week. So a lot of my focus at the moment is going into just making sure my body feels good. More maintenance of my striking and ball striking, but just making sure my short game and putting is sharp and I'm not hitting anything too drastic. And then maybe a week out, I'll start to amp up and get some performance practice done. Yeah, it's a crazy process. Obviously, like you said, the first stage was over 4 rounds, which obviously you mastered quite nicely. I think it was 5 under your total score for the whole 4 days, which is great. But like you said, the next stage, 6 rounds of golf. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, and obviously if you get through that, then you've got another 4 rounds of golf in the final stage to try and get as high up the ladder as possible to get as many points and invites on your card. I think probably is the most brutal process in golf, I reckon.
Yeah, and it's weird. If you look at other sports, there's just nothing quite like golf in terms of qualification for professional. Like if you look at football, you get scouted and signed, but you don't have to you might go to a trial or something, but the trial might be a few days long with however many people. But the Q school process really is unique, and it's not always, I don't know, it's not always the best test of who's playing best. It's a very short space of time to be giving people tour cards.
Yeah.
When people, may have played great all season, and one bad event or one bad round or a couple of bad breaks, and that's their sort of season over. So it is very harsh. But a lot of it in my head as well is just conquering your thoughts for the week. It's a stressful week. It's really like no other. I shot 3 over the first round, and I was in 68th position.
Yeah. And
I was, you're contemplating, well, have I got another season left in me on one of the lower tours in the UK? Because I'm not sure I do. So you're thinking over that night, you're thinking on the Tuesday, I don't know if I've got another season left on the low tours I need to get through. And you're such a long way back. You're in 70th position or 68th. But then, it's all about, understanding and conquering your emotions to try and just get in the top 20. I mean, you're not really looking to win. You don't really get anything more for winning than you do for 15th place. Yeah. But it was always nice to win. Always nice to win.
No, definitely. Well, congratulations on that, and good luck, obviously, in the next stage. I'll no doubt I'll be watching. Don't worry about that. I'll be keeping a close eye on you. Now, One Pod Life is brought to you in partnership with Energy Golf, the leading golf development platform. They are committed to providing a service that allows you to reach your maximum potential by improving your mindset, creating physical longevity, and funding your golf career. What they've done is take professional tour team experience and brought it to you through their platform so you can have your very own tour team in your pocket. Energy Golf offers the ability to learn from leading professionals in the fields of fitness, nutrition, breathing, caddying, psychology, business, as well as proven tour winners and many more. There are also courses based around the mental aspects of golf, such as mental toughness, emotional control, and self-esteem. Visit energy.com to learn more, and to claim your exclusive 1-month free trial, simply send an email with the subject OnePodLife to info@energy.com and enjoy. Now let's get back to the podcast. I just want to move back a little bit for the last bit about your career so far. Go back to, I don't know if you know what I'm going to say now, but go back to 2017. Mm-hmm. It's the NCAA Championship.
Oh God, yeah.
You know where I'm going with this one. Something happened to you on the 13th hole. Just talk me through it.
Oh my goodness! So we were playing at the regional championship. So our school, it was a good school, but we hadn't made it to nationals for 10 years. It's hard to make it to nationals. So we were in the regional qualifying, which is the final stage basically to get through to the national championship. And we're playing so well as a team. We're all doing well. 13th hole, we're in by 3 shots. So the 13th hole, I hit my shot to 15 feet for birdie, and I leave it short by a foot, but I didn't tap in my putt because I would have been standing on somebody's line. So I marked it, and then put the ball in my pocket, bent down on the side of the green. The ball's come out of my pocket, hit the bottom of my foot, and ran across the green into the pond, over the bulkhead into the pond. But not the pond, into a lake. It was massive. And we were in Louisiana. So it went in the pond, and I had no idea what was going to happen. Like, called a couple of refs over, thinking that I would just be able to replace it because my ball's marked on the green. I know where the ball is. Yeah. Like, it's not like I've kicked it when it was stationed, when it was in play. It's in my hand. They said, no, you've got to finish the hole with the same ball, otherwise there's a 2-shot penalty.
Wow.
So my coach is standing there, and he's got he's got a bit of a strop on. He's not happy with me, and I'm sitting there thinking, I've just cost everybody like if I don't find this ball, I've cost everybody the tournament.
Yeah.
So I jump in over the lake, over this bulkhead into this lake, and it's just swamp. It's more of a swamp there. And little did I know, I'm in the middle of Louisiana in the summertime, digging around in a swamp. And there's gators, there's snapping turtles, there's water moccasins, which are these snakes that are in like water that are like the most poisonous thing around. And I'm just digging around looking for balls. Because in England, the worst we'd get in a lake is maybe some trout, or some goldfish. But obviously over there is a lot different. And didn't find my ball. I didn't find my ball. I found everybody else's ball that had ever hit it in there, but my ball. So I had to get out and play very wet for the last 6 holes, and took a 2-shot penalty. So I tapped in for my double bogey. Yeah. Someone recorded it. I didn't know someone was recording it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have tensed up.
I did watch it.
But
I might put a link in the podcast notes. People can go and watch it.
It's pretty insane. And then at the Palmer Cup later that year, the referee came up to me and said, David, you could have looked for your ball for as long as you liked. It wasn't they gave me a 5, because it was 5 minutes then. Right, they gave me a 5-minute timer. But actually, I could have looked for as long as I liked, because once the ball's picked up, it's equipment, and there's no time limit on looking for equipment. There's only time limit on looking for your lost ball. But the ball wasn't lost, effectively. It was lost equipment because it was in my hand.
That was going to be one of my questions, because I was going to say, like, how long did you get to look for it? Because if it was, like you said, a standard, I've lost my ball, I've hit it out of bounds or whatever, then it's you get 5 minutes, obviously now 3 minutes. But I was like, how long could you have been there for 4 hours looking for your ball? Yeah.
So I could have, effectively, he said there was no time limit on how long I could have looked for it. So that was a little frustrating. And then anyway, I finished wet and the 2-shot penalty, and one of our teammates bogeyed the last hole. So it put us into a playoff, which was like, I'm sort of sitting in the clubhouse, like head in my hands. And when they said it was a playoff, I was like, wow, it's so like, thank God. Like, I thought I'd ruined it for everybody. This was my last college event, and I've dropped my ball in the pond, and this is how I was going to go out. And then once it got to a playoff, there's no way we were losing. No way. Not after what just happened. There was no way I was allowing it to go any further. So we got through and we made it to nationals. So that was it was epic. It was a good end to a pretty weird, bizarre story.
It's such a random rule as well. The fact that you've, like you said, it's how that is a 2-shot penalty. I've got no idea. Because obviously, if you're playing with a ball and it's got a massive scuff on it, you can change it, right?
I think it has to be caused from a shot you've hit. So, for example, if you'd hit the ball and it nailed a path, and it maybe had something on it that would affect the flight, I think you can then replace it. But I didn't foresee that it would be a 2-shot penalty anyway. No. But it was. I got a message from the guys who played there, Smiley Kaufman and Justin Thomas. Yep. They all messaged on Twitter and were like, if you only knew what was in that lake, like it's just full, just seething with the alligators and I'm just digging around in there. I had no idea. And everyone thought I was nuts, but I was like, if I'd known they were in there, I would never have gone.
Crazy Englishman. Look at him. He's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going in there.
Well, like you said, it was a weird, fun ending to your college career.
Yeah, well, it didn't actually end my career. I actually got to play one more event, which was great. And I got onto Golf Channel for it, and I don't know. I get a lot of comments about it now, which is it's good. It's good. I mean, had it been the end of my college career, I probably would have just crawled into a dark hole and not moved for many years, because that would have been pretty horrible.
But we've all got to have those crazy stories to tell, right? One for the grandkids.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Cheers. Right, David, let's move into some. I've got 3. I call them quick fire questions, but they're probably not. Yeah, we'll see what they are. Right. If you weren't a golfer, what would you be and why?
Thought about this before. I think I'd love to be I wouldn't say motivational. I'd like to be a speaker. I'd like to get up and present in front of like arenas and things, like maybe present ideas and
like a
talk to big audiences. I really like public speaking.
Okay.
I enjoy that. Yeah.
It's good to know. Okay. If you could pick one moment in history to go back and see, what would it be?
Oh my God, I'm a history nerd. I absolutely love it. I think I would have to go back to the middle stage of the building of the Great Pyramids of Giza.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Because I'm a massive. To be fair, actually, that's another good idea. I probably would love to be an Egyptologist as well. That would be another thing I'd love to be. But I'm a huge fan of Egypt, and I'm convinced that the pyramids are older than we think. So I'd love to go back and see, the method or how it was built, and that would be my. I'd love to. I'd absolutely love it.
If we start calling you a pharaoh.
It's a close passion behind golf would be Egyptology.
I like it. Mine's space, so I'm addicted to it.
Oh, is it? Yeah. I'm actually reading a really good book at the moment on astrology. On astrophysicists.
Okay,
it's really good. It's called the Black Hole Journal.
I might dig that out and have a look.
Yeah, you should. It's very good.
Okay, last question is: what's your go-to meal after a tournament round?
Oh, that's a great question. In America, it's Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
I'll go get a Chick-fil-A sandwich with a cookies and cream milkshake. And in England, we don't have the same variety of like fast food. So like it would probably be I love Indian. It'd be an Indian. Oh, yeah. I miss that in America.
If I haven't got time to sit down, I think mine's a good KFC, Mighty Bucket for one.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I do enjoy good Indian as well, so that's always good. We used to do that after football on a Sunday. We used to play football, go down in the local who sponsored our football team actually, and just pick out on Indian. It's great. Yeah,
it's such a good. And I don't get it in America, so when I'm back, I love to eat it. They have sparse Indian restaurants.
Maybe when you move back over, you need to open one. Yeah,
that would be good.
David, thanks for giving us an insight into who you are, your mishaps on the greens, and especially in tournaments, and your rise through the college ranks. I think, like you said, telling people that if they want to, they should go over there and experience that. I think is great. So, moving forward, we've got the reason why I started the podcast, as people know who listen to this regularly, is to gain insights from yourself and other golfers on how you think aspiring golfers should be doing to become who wants to become pro. So, what are your 3 top tips that you think any aspiring golfer should be doing to move up the ladder?
Okay, I think one is understand yourself, your emotions, and your abilities. I think a lot of aspiring professionals get into the trap that they need to do X, Y, and Z before they can become truly great, which is just nonsense. And a lot of the time you're chasing something that is not actually achievable for you or for I. I think that's to understand what you have in your artillery and use that to the best of your ability. There's always time to add stuff to your artillery, but having a base artillery, and so then you're never hitting shots that you're not comfortable with, or you very rarely are. You might have to make some adjustments, but you're hitting a lot of shots that you're comfortable with that can still achieve what you need to achieve in result, rather than looking to change something or play differently because you think that you may have played with someone who just bombs it 330 straight down the middle and they've shot 63. And you're like, wow, I need to do that. Yeah. But in hindsight, they played well. You can shoot 63, hitting it 295 or 310 or however far you hit it. So I think that's important.
Okay.
Number 2 is a controversial one, but I would get rid of every single coach / tip / golf Instagram account on your Instagram. Was my personal tip. I think for me, they made me feel inferior. I feel like I'm missing something if I'm not doing what they're telling me. You see great coaches I don't want to name anyone, but you see plenty of great coaches giving coaching tips and coaching things that are great for, someone who's looking for a quick fix, or an 18 handicap who may want to eradicate his slice. But for a professional golfer, these things can make you feel like you're missing something out and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So once I quit, that's why I created 2 Instagrams. I created my golf one, which I don't scroll down, I just post on.
Yeah.
And I created my personal one, which I actually use and scroll down, because I find with the golf Instagram, it's not, you're only seeing great things. You're only seeing scores when people play really well. You're only seeing great swings. Aesthetically, everything's too good. So that was one that actually really helped me to just become more myself.
Yeah. No, and then just on that, I do agree that you can get stuck down a rabbit hole by following too many coaches and like you said, instructional videos and that type of stuff. I think if you like that, stick to one, because then you're not getting conflicting messages. Yeah,
I think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with online instruction. Probably not for aspiring professionals, to be honest, but for the average golfer, online instruction is fine. But getting tidbits of information from 4 or 5 different coaches and picking, just never, you're never going to, in my opinion, you're never going to improve without that. And then third and finally, probably quite an obvious one, but to get performance practice in, So when you're on the range and you're working on something that you feel like might help or whatever it may be, and a technique improvement. But I've found a lot of improvement when I got to about 19 or 20, when I took up more performance practice. So 3 or 4 times a week I would practice with ideas to improve and not think about technique. So it would be testing. It might be, there's a couple 75, 100 and 110 yard target. What I've been doing recently is randomizing 10 numbers between 50 and 130 yards.
Okay.
And hitting to those 10 numbers, and I've got to get within 3 yards of it and seeing how many shots it takes me to get through all 10. Yep. So things like that just make you focus on the outcome, not focus on the technique so much, because technique is a fundamental for sure, but it's 20% of what the game is.
Yep. So
performing and hitting shots when you need to, and understanding what happens when you get under pressure, really putting pressure on yourself in practice to be able to perform. That's what I do with all the people I coach. Just a lot of the time it's just performance practice, because they don't get enough of it. And then you can understand what you do under pressure and work on that more than just getting your swing in a good position.
Yep.
Because you do have to focus on technique, but I just think it's too often.
Yeah. No, fantastic. Well, David, thank you very much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story, giving us your insights at the end. And like I said, wish you good luck going forward in the Q School, your next 6 rounds of golf.
Thank you.
And I'll be keeping an eye on. Hopefully guys will follow you as well. And we'll see you rise to the top.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, let's hope so. I've got a good feeling. Let's see. Yeah. I'm excited for the next few weeks.
No, good man. Okay. Well, thank you, David. Cheers for that. And speak.
Thank you for having me on. Cheers.